Listen, are you a business owner? You ever wonder what business owners go through to make it to the price of being free, right? What's the price of freedom is exactly what we're going to explain in this video. We're going to break down how business owners make it to be business owners and what do they pay to get there. What's going on, y'all? I'm one of your co-hosts of Minding Your Biz, Dr. BlackWealth. I want to let you know that it's always tax season. Tax season is always here, right? Our firm specializes in working with business owners, real estate investors, and investors on looking at tax strategies to help you in your savings, right? So my other co-host, Mrs.Fabfinancial, she works with individuals and small businesses up to about 250, right? And so her office is open as well. We both can take care of you and make sure that you are doing and using your dollars for the best interest of you, right? So make sure you click the link, make sure you book a call, don't wait, do it right now, and you can get back to the episode. What's going on, y'all? It's another episode of Minding Your Biz. I'm here, Dr. BlackWealth, and our co-host here,
Mrs.Fabfinancial. Hello, how are you?
What's going on?
Nothing much. Like, no, it's always something going on. I'm a business owner. Then you just say that it's everything. It's all the things happening all at one time. That is the price of being a business owner. Paying for my freedom and my, you pay for it with your time and everything else as we deep dive into that. So when you say what's going on, it's all the things.
All the things. All the things. Listen, so I don't know. We coming into the end of January here, right before we go into February being Black History Month. So. Keeping with the themes that we've been pushing as far as Black economics, the political arenas, right? The price of freedom just came to my mind, right? When a lot of people go into entrepreneurship, and I feel like we have a disordered view of what that really means, right? And then from how we know that the average business owner may not even make it to seven figures, I feel like we have a slanted view of the work ethic required to even be an entrepreneur. Yeah. So it's like, what's the price of freedom? What do you give up? What are you doing? What are you giving up? What are you fighting for to even be an entrepreneur?
So for me, it's I took it. I'm taking it a couple different ways here. The price of freedom in terms of being a successful entrepreneur or business owner differs to me based on what you think that is, right? What's the thing on why you're even doing it, right? Because most of us say, I want to get into to be a business owner because I want some type of financial freedom. And I want the financial freedom because of what? I'm going to spend more time with my family. I want to spend more time with my friends. I want to be able to do the things that money allows you to do. And so sometimes what that why is will drive sometimes your sacrifices, right? So to be a successful business owner comes with you giving up a lot, right? You need to be super disciplined. So you got to give up a lot of the crap, right? You can't watch TV. You can't Netflix and chill a lot. You can't hang out sometimes with your friends. You have to be really intentional about everything you do, right? You almost have to guard your minutes, right? You have to guard your minutes. The hours will take care of themselves, but you really have to handle the minutes and what you do in your day with care and caution, right? Because you have to be intentional about how you become successful. It just doesn't happen. So every minute of the day is intentional about how you get to be successful, right? And so a lot of that is the entertainment, the things that you surround yourself with. It's a lot of sacrifice, personal sacrifice. You got to give up a little time with your kids or your spouses and your friends or even your family, right? There's times that I don't see my friends and family for months because of the seasonality of my business, right? I'm in the tax industry, so that the first and second quarters, my head is down. I'm like,
where you at?
Grinding it out. They're like, is she alive? Where's she at? Because I know that I have to put in the work for the rest of the year to pay off. And so I give up a lot. I'm in the office long hours. I'm spending more time with my customers, trying to fine tune the business, how to reach more clients. I'm thinking. And so sometimes I don't have time to hang out with my friends. I don't have time to constantly sometimes nurture even my marriage right? Because I'm nurturing my business. My kids are neglected. And so you have to be willing to swallow that and go, is this the cost? Is this the sacrifice? Is it worth it? Because you can't get time back. No matter how much money you make, if I lose $1,000, I can get that back. I cannot get yesterday back. If I miss something with my kids, I can't get that back. I can't rewind back to when they're 4. Can I buy them some stuff to pacify that, to make it easier? I can. But is it worth it? And so you as a business owner have to decide, is it worth it? Because to be successful is sacrifice. It's sacrifice.
No, for sure. So listen, we getting heavy early. So when I think about it, you know, a lot of us go into entrepreneurship and I don't think we really weigh in. You know, some of us are forced into it by whatever means or whatever that looks like. And some of us choose this based off whatever circumstances dictated around us, right? And there's no, you know, right or wrong answer in going into it or not going into it based off whatever circumstances are. But I don't think really you can't really, it's almost like being a parent. You can feel a parent's pain, but you ain't gonna really feel it till you decide to have a baby.
Listen here. Right
now and then when you have a baby, let's talk about at least, you know, the person who's more in the plight of parent than anybody is the mother, right? And so, you know, when you look at that, that's another title that you get attached to your name that further allows you to lose some of your identity in yourself. But when I compare that to entrepreneurship, I look at it like there's a few principles that we just really have, you know, missed or don't really understand on how entrepreneurship can carry us and decompress that. And one of them, like you said, is time, right? A lot of people think that time is money. And these are some principles I'm going to teach that I got from a mentor of mine, Myron, you know, like time is money. And so when you look at that, though, a lot of people don't explore like why they even go into entrepreneurship. You go into entrepreneurship and a lot of things that you want is not really what money is, but it's what money can buy. I want the ability to travel when I want to.
Yeah.
I want the ability to stay home with my wife and kids when I want to. I want the ability to wake up when I need to, right? Or I want to be able to, you know, change the community, restructure where we live, right?
Yeah,
and
the
all
financial
those things,
freedom connects with the time freedom.
for sure.
Because that's what you want. You want the time freedom.
And so when you look at that, you realize like, well, time is infinitely more valuable than money is because, you know, that the money can afford me, like I can't get time back, right? And so we not working for time, but we working for the things that time can afford us. I got the ability to be free and have the mindset of like, hey, I don't have to worry about whatever, right? And so when we look at that, it's just like, you know, it's like, what's the price of freedom? So when we look at that in a perspective, I know when I got into entrepreneurship, I didn't realize that the first price I paid or cost I paid was just on myself. I paid a cost to myself. What does that mean? I had to rethink how I thought about every single thing I thought I knew. I had to rethink, right? Look at my disproportionate house. I had to rethink how I thought about every single thing that I knew about life and what that entailed, right? My mom said stuff like money don't grow on trees, right? The ability that I have to look in myself and say, man, like the sacrifices that I'm making. What we really pay as entrepreneurs is the thought process to change our mindset, and we don't really know what that is till you really into it. I used to always be like, listen, why we always got to talk about mindset? Like I came here to learn a specific skill or structure or a thing, But the crazy part is mindset shows up in everywhere, because how you think about stuff is often how you see things, and how you see things is often how you speak about things.
For sure.
And that can change a person's situation, right?
And it's mental fortitude. How strong are you, right? Because, you know, they say that the brain is the largest, strongest muscle in the body, right? So if your mind is weak, and so will then your body, and then your activities that your mind needs to take you. So your mindset is super important. So the sacrifice, struggle, resistance, you know, anything you think about that needs to be great when you're trying to think about a premier athlete, that they're trying to get their body in premier shape to compete, take struggle and resistance. You know, they have, you know, your muscle to expand and grow has to go through a struggle and a resistance. And it's the same with business. You're going to go through a struggle and a resistance. You know, the things, your body, your mind, everything. It's a part of the success. And I think people, we don't tell that story of the struggle and the resistance to be a successful business owner, right? You look at, you know, I don't know if this was her plan or not, but Oprah is unmarried with no children. So did she sacrifice that? I don't know, because I don't know her inside, but possibly that was a personal thing she sacrificed. She had to possibly give up, right? As a woman at the top of her game to be super successful, there's sacrifices that come with that, right? So, I mean, you can look at a lot of really successful people that have personal struggles. So the money and the time doesn't equate to an easy life.
For sure.
Right? And I think that's also a misconception, that money and the success means, oh my God, my life will then be easier.
Look at what happened with Diddy.
No, it does not. You know, with more money, more problems, for sure, right? It's a different heavy.
Yeah.
It's a different heavy, because you're responsible for more people to now keep this thing going. You think about professional athletes who now make the thing. They've went through the personal sacrifice, the physical sacrifice to get their body in premier shape. They are chosen, one of the top elite athletes to be chosen to the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, whatever that is. They're given money, right? These contracts, and now they got the weight of the world on their back, their neighborhood, their family, their this, their that they now feel like they have to carry with them forward. And then to cut that and say, no, I can't do that anymore. You're a sellout. You forgot about your neighborhood. Oh, you too good for us. Now it's a mental, I got to give up some of that. And people don't get that. I feel like they're like, no, we're supposed to go with you. You're successful. We all going to jump on the train and let's all ride this together. But you got to cut that to maintain your position. No, I can't take you with me. Only it's enough room for me to go into this room. You can't go in with me. I can't bring y'all with me. I could reach back. Once I get my ship afloat, I could possibly reach back and help you, but you can't take this ride with me. So success is a lot of sacrifice, a lot of struggle, a lot of resistance, a lot of like mental fortitude that a lot of people, I think, just aren't ready. They are not mentally preparing themselves for this journey. And I've been in it. I've seen it. My phone rings less. I have less friends, less acquaintances. And it's you island sometimes on your own. Until you find, because sometimes people don't get it. They're like, oh, you know, you don't spend time with us. You don't hang out with us. I can't. I can't hang out with y'all. Like, this thing called success requires full attention. For sure. I can't. So, you know, be easy, y'all, with your friends that have businesses. Be easy with them.
Be easy.
Be easy. All right, guys, it's your girl, Mrs.Fabfinancial, one of the co-hosts of the Mind Your Biz podcast. And so we want to let you know that we talk about all things business, but I don't know if some of you know, but we also do taxes, right? And so it is tax season. And so if you want to work with either one of us, myself or my co-host, Dr. BlackWealth, click the link in our bio. Check us out. in our link tree. You can book an appointment. You can upload your documents, and we will get you together and let you know what you're looking at, right? So don't forget, click the link in the bio. It's tax season, right? You don't want to pay more than you have to, right? And so I specialize in personal and small businesses up to about $250. My co-host, Dr. BlackWealth, got you covered. If you are an experienced, high net worth entrepreneur, right? $250 and up. He does CFO services, payroll, tax planning. He got you. We got you. So whether you're on the low end or the high end, we got you covered. Check the link out in our bio. Click us, calendar us, book us, all that stuff. Check us out, and we see you on the other side.
So by no means do I want us to come across like we are scaring the community out of business and business ownership. But what I do think is that we don't really understand, and I don't think I've never heard an entrepreneur speak on this that we talking about, just what it really takes to be a successful entrepreneur and the stuff that we go through in order to get there. And I think that if more people understood it, then when you really sign up for this gig, you wouldn't play around with it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Either you would take it up and go all the way, or you just wouldn't mess with it at all. Leave it alone, right? And even in your analogy of the athlete and how they get tired out, right? And I think that's one of the prices of freedom, is realizing that, we're not willing to realize our own self-reflection on how we think. We're not willing to shed what we think we know, mm-hmm. in order to get to a place that we have never been, mm-hmm. right? And we think that we could go into a place that we've never been with the same information that we think we know.
Absolutely.
And the information that you think you know is keeping you in poverty conditions, is keeping you in poor mindset, mm-hmm. right? And you have to abandon that. And one of the first things you need to realize and understand is how money works. That's one of the first things you need to understand as an entrepreneur, right? After you start getting, I'm seeing countless, right now it's tax season. I've seen at least 2 to 3, probably even 5 videos of just people realizing like, oh my God, I made it to be a 6-figure entrepreneur. And, we living it up, got the bag, and my accountant telling me I owe the IRS A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, because they ain't understand that they may have to wait to get the Louis bag, or wait to get the Gucci bag, or wait to get the car, or whatever that is that we think we gotta get, that we chasing, that you really don't think that's not the real reason that you're chasing it, right? Once you get all this stuff. So we're gonna break down how money works. Period, right? So my mentor says is windows of wealth, 4 windows of wealth. The first window, you got an income window, right? You got a liabilities window, you got an asset window, and you got an outgo window. So poor people, right? Let me shorten these windows, y'all, so I could draw some arrows.
That was cool.
So, right? Most people think, or poor people think, that when we make income, from our job, right? Or self-employed, whatever that looks like. And the primary focus of money is for us to make money to pay bills. So it'll go right to our outgo window. What's in our pay bills? When we pay bills, we paying, right? That's everything. That's rent, because most of us don't own, but / mortgage, right? That's car notes. That's, gas, whatever that look like. Lights,
needs, utilities,
right? All your needs,
your food,
right? We think that when we make money, it goes straight to the bills, right? And you heard it. What does that look like? It comes up in form of, man, I'm about to get paid Friday, but that money already gone. I got to pay. I'm already 2 days behind on rent. I got to pay the light bill. I might need to put something on the gas bill, and then I still need gas money to get back to work the next day, right? So your money's already gone. That's the mindset that we have, right? So it's a survival tactic. But then you have people who become like your elite athletes, rappers, entertainers, professional workers. So you got your doctors, your lawyers, your engineers, right? And we think the primary focus of money is to buy things. Mm-hmm. So we'll make money, we'll make 6-7 figures, right? And we'll spend our money on toys as in forms of liabilities, and that's buying things like cars, right? Toys, fashion, whatever that looks like, right?
No real wealth.
The house. So you buying things, but it reduces it's a liability because now you think that what's the primary focus of money? I make money to have good credit so I can afford me the riches in life, and then I work to pay off the riches in life, right? $1 million, $2 million, $3 million homes, and we still have to work like a dog to pay the mortgage, right? And then guess what that do? The liabilities that go straight out the outgo window, and boom, right? But the thing that the wealthy people do is they understand that in order to why y'all ain't tell me the roof was gone? And they understand that in order for them to pass the money test is they understand that money has to work for itself because guess what? There's only so much time in any given day or any given season. Nobody's living past probably 110 years old. I can't even see it.
And that's generous.
And that's real generous. You are really blessed if you make it to even 99.
Okay.
We are not living in the days of Noah, right?
No.
So we know that in order for us to outlive ourselves through generational wealth, so we say we want to create, we have to learn how to make money when we're not physically making money. And what does that look like? That's buying assets. So wealthy people spend time and they spend their money, they make income, right, in their income window, and it shoots right to an asset window. What does that look like? That looks like real estate. That look like businesses. That look like systems, right? That look like processes, right? Especially for business owners. So I'll make money to invest money into real estate, businesses, systems, people, delegation, and I'll spend all my money in this window here eventually until what? My assets start making enough money that it starts to, this is the only window that pays through all other windows. The asset window puts money back into my pocket. The asset windows help pay for liabilities that I want. I didn't say you can't have liabilities, but that's not the primary focus of your money where it should be, right? And then the asset windows help what? Pay all the necessities of life. Because just because you got rent mortgage, you still need a place to stay, right? Those are needs that we have. But we need to focus our attention on building assets so that the assets can provide income, liabilities, and our necessary bills. Right? What you think about that?
No, that's a whole word.
That was good.
You done laid down that whole house. You didn't even need brick and mortar.
Chris, that was good.
You didn't even need brick and mortar for that house.
You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure.
And when you look at it like what you said, which I'm in agreement with, like we'll physically just to pick on the athletes for a little bit, right? We'll make that person an asset, whoever the person is that's going to be the professional that we see them to be. And we'll put all our time and attention in them, right? But then what we're not doing is we're not giving them the blueprint on how money is utilized and what it should be. And instead, when they make it, we feel like we made it, but we did make it, but you thinking we made it in the wrong way. That looks like he has to, or he or she got to pay for my whole lifestyle.
For sure.
Instead of allowing he or she to put things out in perspective to make assets.
Can you imagine?
And you get a job under these assets.
Can you imagine if every professional football player had a structure in a business, almost like a coat of arms?
Right.
Think of every professional athlete as a world class, because they are a business, but if they were able and given the skill sets and abilities to run them like a business, as if every athlete was like a LeBron, right? Every professional athlete, especially in the Black community. Now, I'm for everybody, but we're talking about us. What that would do generationally, right? For the people in their neighborhood, the people in their downline, the people in their community. If every professional athlete was given the ability and allowed to really be the CEO and create jobs, create opportunity, not just give you a check and give you a house so you can live off of, right? You become, that's a leech. You're a bloodsucker. You're not adding anything to them. You're pulling. That's a tremendous amount of stress and pressure to put on someone. And I just think that if we could, even the teams, the professional athletes, if you can have a pipeline into helping them create their business, because their careers are short-lived. They're done. Most of them are done by 30.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody is not a LeBron or Brady who could go in past 35, especially in these industries. So what are you going to do at 35, 45, and 55? Life has to life. You still have to live and take care of your family.
Mm-hmm.
And so the short period of time when they're that premier athlete, they're drained.
Yeah.
People are sucking them dry. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. And I think that is the real issue to me in our community. Most of us don't understand business.
You limit your skill set.
Don't understand money and become leeches.
Yeah.
And I think it's no accountability to pull yourself up, to use the resources you have. Mm-hmm. We're in the greatest country. You can go out on the corner and sell bonnets. Can you hear me? These women are walking out in Walmart in bonnets. They selling bonnets.
Not in Walmart.
Flip-flop shoes.
Right.
You could buy all that crap from Temu and set up a situation and provide income for your family.
Yeah.
Create something for your family and your legacy. Then study it and go, what do I do with money?
Right, but that's the key. Study it.
Study it.
That's the key. Study it. And not that there's not many of them out there, right? But when I think about entrepreneurship, especially life after sports, I think of two people that quickly comes to mind. The first being Magic Johnson.
Absolutely.
And then the second being Shaq.
Absolutely.
Right? And so and I get it, right? Everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur, but that's what this show is about. So if that's not you, then you can go to the next show.
Here at Mind Your Biz, we help you mind your business. Right. That's what we doing.
Right. And so we talking about the advancement of poor people, because the way I look at it, we boil down into class, right? And the reason why I spend so much time on black people is because why? Black people has always been the center of any type of movement, force, or change in America, period.
We fly.
If it wasn't for black people, women wouldn't have the right to do something. We fly.
Black people are, listen, we got so much flyness. Do you hear me? So much flavor. The way we walk, the way we talk, the way we tell a story, the way we change our hair, our clothes, everything. We are fly. Right. And we need to be the ones that should be able to capitalize on our fly.
On our number one asset.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Everybody else capitalize off that. But so, we once we already dropped down, right, the windows of wealth, understanding how money works. That's one of the prices of freedom. Why? Because typically 9 times out of 10 from a financial person, especially us dealing with advisory and helping clients and business owners to increase their income and possibly pay less taxes, we fighting habits. And we fighting habits bad. We fighting the ability for them to go spend and do what they want to do. We even social media. We even coming up with tax deductions and possibly credits that revolves us spending money in other places. We're not even looking at the fact that just through one thing, real estate, how many developers that we really have that really is going about changing the community? We talked about gentrification at one point, right? And that's stuff that you could spend money on and do.
Yeah.
There's nobody out there that's from a banking standpoint, right? We are not represented in anybody's bank. I don't care if we want to say, but we got all the credit gurus telling you to run to all of them, right? With no Doc Linden. You can go to Navy Fed, you can go to PNC, you can go to Wells Fargo, you can go to Bank of America, right? And I don't care how many articles they put out about how they, diversity and inclusion. Okay. You still got to sit at the table and ask the guy or girl in front of you that, hey, I have a 680, 700 credit score. My business is making 6 or 7 figures. We might have netted somewhere between 6 and 7 figures. I'm looking for a loan that I can go in and do what? Buy up this piece of property or even buy a business. And we got to go through so much red tape to get funding when we got people who can provide that.
For sure. I mean, now you're talking about like group economics. Right. But then that goes into a level of distrust that was bred in us while we don't do that with each other. So I think that
we'll save that for another time.
Absolutely. We can uncover that at another time. But I think the sacrifice, you want freedom. You want financial freedom.
Right.
You want time freedom. You have to create it for yourself, which is generating more income for
Nobody's
yourself.
coming to save you.
Nobody is coming to save you. And I don't care. Yes, you can come to Tax Dragon Pro, shameless plug, and we can help you generate an extra $25,000, $30,000. Would that help you and your family by setting up your own tax business?
Yeah.
That will help you and your family. It helped me. Now, you don't have to do that. You can sell earrings, eyeglasses, shoelaces, nail polish. But you need to have some type of business, a service, a product to exchange to generate extra money for your family if you want the time freedom and the financial freedom you say you want.
There's two things you're going to need to do. The first thing is learn the skill. There's plenty of people off the top of my head I can name that can put you in any industry that produces and make money. You got Push with the car rentals. You got Trap with teaching stocks. You got everybody teaching, from marketing to whatever industry you can think of, taxes, podcasting, videography, photography, right? It's so many different industries
you can have a YouTube
that you can pick
channel.
the lane.
These people are selling planners, anything.
Kids going crazy on YouTube, making millions, billions. There's so many skills.
Get an Amazon shop.
Right.
You could bedazzle. That's somebody that's bedazzling water bottles.
Right.
That's bedazzling and blinging
fashion,
shoelaces. And they taking J's.
Yep.
And they buying J's.
Yep.
Tricking them out and reselling them because you artistic or you know how to put some rhinestones on there.
Yep.
Whatever your craft is, you
hone in on it. The second thing you're going to need to find out quickly right after you do that is what all them people had to find out: how to actually run a business, manage a business, and how to make it succeed and leave a legacy, right? That's where, at least I know for a fact, we come into play, right? We teach the business behind business and how you can grow, sustain, and leave a legacy for your people, right? So those are the top two skills I know for sure. But within that, you're going to pay a price every level you jump on.
Every level.
The first one is you're trying to be an outlier, so don't tell me you being different, because now I got to see you different. The second is we got to look at the way we spend money, right? And then we got to look at our habits. One of the things, I was reading Proverbs. I'm in my era of Solomon this whole quarter. Solomon said a couple times in the same chapters, right? Like, hey, don't love sleep so much. He said, a little sleep, little slumber, little folding of the hands. Like poverty come on you like a travel man with, like a traveler thief in the night. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We love sleeps too much. I ain't saying you can't have a work-life balance, but what I am saying is you're gonna have to sacrifice some stuff. You might have to, and you need to do it around what you feel, who you are. Like, I'm an early riser. I can get up at 4 a.m. to do something, right? Some people night owls. Yeah. Whatever that looks like, restructure it for you.
No, for sure. It's more, you have to, and it's also sometimes seasonal, right? My daughter comes home from school and she said, my teacher told me that we have to do what we have to do so one day we could do what we want to do. Yeah. I said, amen, praise God. That's right. We got out of the mouth of babes. You right, sister girl. Yeah. You have to do what you have to do so one day you can do what you want to do. Yeah. And I can't say it no better than that. If you want better, it's sacrifice to get better. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that this is the rat race you're going to continuously be on, but you got to put some work in. Yeah. You got to put some time in. And so right now we're in tax season. It's grind season. Sure. I got to do now what I have to do. Yeah. So for the rest of the year, I could do what I want to do. Right.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means, right? So, it's sacrifice. Is it longer hours? I'm getting up at 5 a.m. I'm jumping on my coaching call with ET. I'm praying. I'm meditating. He giving us homework. I got to get ready for the podcast. I got to get ready for my tax clients, my service bureau clients, my mentorship clients. I feel like I'm always studying, reading, and writing. I got a Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting. And I got land I'm developing. I got meetings that I'm like meetinged out. I don't want no more meetings, but I have to do what I have to do so I could do what I want to do. So I can buy my time freedom. Is it tiring sometimes? Absolutely. I'm not going to paint the picture that your girl don't be tired. But I enjoy it and I love it. And I made a commitment and a covenant with God that I'm going to help bring his people financial freedom. Mm-hmm. So I'm allowing him to use me, no matter how tired my physical body may be, to help his people.
To get financial freedom.
And
there's a cost associated with that, right? What's the price of freedom, right? I'm going to constantly say it. What's the price of freedom? Why? When you think about, like we just had a few weeks ago, Martin Luther King holiday. What's the price of freedom? At what point did they kill Martin Luther King? At the point that
ultimate sacrifice. He lost his life.
At the point where he started talking about the economic movement and changes that black people need to have. After we have fought all the bills to get the right to vote and all the things that he thought that we needed and wanted, which I'm not saying that we didn't, but ultimately it came down to an economic fight.
Yeah.
We wasn't given the 40 acres and a mule. They was giving out land in the West and the Midwest, but black people didn't see none of it, right? He understood that land, ownership, business was the way for us to move forward, right? And I'm going to taking on that mantle because that's what I push. Everybody don't need to be a business owner.
But somebody in your family, somebody in your coat of arms needs to own some land in a business, not necessarily you. If you a doctor, then hopefully your children, your brother, your sister will be an entrepreneur to help with the lineage in the family line.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody in your immediate family needs to have a business.
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree. So when you think about that, right, it goes down to what does that even look like? What stages of life does that even look like? So we break down, my little entrepreneurial quadrant I made up here, call it EQ, right? A founder, a CEO, a business owner, an investor, right? So when we look at that, what does that really look like? From a founder position, we probably are testing the waters. Mm-hmm. We are dibbing and dabbing in what we think we want to do. We might want to do taxes on the side. We might do a little fashion on the side. Might do a little tailoring. Trying to figure it out, right? You trying to just you spending a lot of time trying to figure out that gift and hone in on it. Mm-hmm. The very next thing, at least if you don't do nothing else, the very next thing you should make it to is the transition between a founder to a CEO. If you do nothing else past that, at least you would have been in the fight long enough to see it through, right? And these people, probably a founder could make up to 6 figures just accidentally. I mean, you could really make up to 7 figures accidentally.
You sure can.
Right? But as a CEO, you will want to be making 7 figures plus, not accidentally, but intentionally. Mm-hmm. And so what does that look like? The skills that we got to hone in on as a CEO, the development process, the mindset process, the leadership, right? When you think about that, leadership, what does it mean to be a leader?
Selfless.
Right? Being selfless. Because we're not in business for us. Mm-mm. We're in business for us, right? But we also go in business for a cause. Right now, entrepreneurship, especially poor or black, is the plight of the revolutionary war on poverty or against the poor class, right? That's the new champions of the Black Panthers, the new movement of the nation. That's the new movement of America.
Business, yes.
Why? Because we put a business in place to help somebody do something. We solving problems, and the problems that we solving helps us solve our problems, so we can move our people forward.
Absolutely.
Fight against education, fight against the freedom of people to have the right to do whatever it is they want to do, right? It's business owners who help the America go around, period, right? So that's leadership skills, that's personal development. Jim Rohn said you should work harder on yourself than you work on the job. But a lot of that is what? Mental. It's understanding that there's a price I got to pay, and are you willing to step up and stay into it long enough to see it through, right? I can't tell you how many times I quit.
Talk about that covenant.
Right. A covenant. How many times I quit? And then I'd be like, man, I done made it this far. I can't stop now. Right? So we want to make sure that these are the foundational principles that we kind of go into it. And I ain't even going to touch on the BNI because most of us haven't even transitioned from the founder to CEO yet. We haven't even made it to the multi-7 figures, right? There's a small percentage of business owners who make $1 million a year or more.
Yeah.
Which means there's a lot of people who are not making that amount of money.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who need the help to get there. Why am I pushing it? Everybody push 6 figures. Well, I think 6 figures is for you. 7 figures to me is at least a new average or new goal at best. Why? Your whole ecosystem changed.
For sure. I mean,
the people
that's a lot
around
more that
you change.
do, for sure. You know what I mean? Like at 7 figures, is no longer about you. You've purchased and done all the things you should have for yourself. Yeah. At that point, you should have. At this point, it's about my family. Yeah. It's about my community. Yeah. It's about leaving a legacy, really putting things in place that even after I die and leave here, it still can move forward, right? Michael Jackson and his estate make more money now that he's no longer with us because of his music. Yeah. Dolly Parton, she was still alive, but she has infrastructure and things in place that will move on beyond past her. Elvis, think of industries and people where their legacy, their impact is still carried on today, and they're not here, and their family can now still reap the benefits of the thing that they did when they were here. Yeah. Elvis, Michael Jackson, who else is in industry and business or entertainment? I can think of heavy entertainment. I can't think of a business situation right off bat. I mean, the first generation Hiltons are not alive, but their family is from the Hilton hotels. Right. They're still here. Yeah. So think that in the legacy you want to, it's available. The legacy you want to leave can start today. At the end of the day, it starts with your vision. How big is your vision? Yeah. How big can you dream? Yeah. And, the bigger your vision, the bigger the responsibility. Yeah. But you could do it. And it's in that vision and dream of why we play the long game, right? Is realizing that the long game is what keeps you in there, right? Like we could play, to use the analogies of chess and all that stuff all day. But the biggest thing is not only do you have to dream, you got to execute. Because I can get ready for a boxing match all day, but you ain't going to really know what to do, how to do, which way to move until you get hit by your opponent. Then you get to study your opponent to see, he moving a little to the right. He might drag his left. Boom, because you in the fight. You in the fight. In the fight. You know not on the outside in the fans cheering. Yeah. And what that looks like. The last look. Right, but that's what I'm saying. So the last price of freedom will be distractions, right? We got a lot of distractions. Right? When you think about the movement of us as a people, where we came from, we fought for our right to be called citizens. We fought for our right to vote in America. We fought for our right to have revolutionary war. Through politics, I might add, but right. All right. We fought for our right to have the freedoms and economics of life, right? We pushed those agenda. It was through the Black Panther that you got stuff like the WIC program that was taken, all the things above, right? But today's fight, I think a lot of people think that the number one distraction itself is the blindness to believe that we made it somewhere, and we really haven't. We made it far, yes, but we're still distracted by what's going on, because the real fight still is our economic position on how we move forward. I think today's revolution is making more businesses so that we can economically stand up. It's too many people of us that's living poor. I agree, but I think this is where we differ, right? Because I think us moving forward as a community definitely involves business. For sure. I'm 110% of that. But I also believe it's in a couple different areas to help us move forward. And that's education, that's politics, and being able to be self-sustaining. And just having a business alone does not get us where we need to be in this country as a collective. I think when you talk about Black Panthers and you look about, you just named a slew of things where we have come through, which included business, politics. It was a collective of things that moved the needle forward. And I think that is where we've lost it. We're no longer playing the game together. Everybody is playing their own separate game. So it's like, well, I want to come over here and make money. Okay, well, then you do that. But nobody is connecting each other. Well, what about the people, even you think about the fraternities and the sororities. They have a kind of a passion, right? But are they connected with business owners? Are they heavy connected in politics? Are they connected in some religious avenues? We have to integrate these, to me, these almost like railways, these pathways. We have to connect them and have an agenda moving forward, right? Because there are some women called the women of the Confederacy They're white women who are married, and they send out flyers and emails about the agenda of the women of the Confederacy, right? And their conservative agenda, that they are not a large force, right? They don't have billions of dollars. Do they fundraise? Do they collect? But they're organized and they're consistent. It's a good 50 women. They send out mailers and say, subscribe, send us $2.50, send us $5 to help push the conservative agenda, which to me is nothing, a dog whistle for racism. I'm going to just put it out there. It is what it is. That's how I feel, right? But we can't do that. We're not organized to say, all right, some of us do this, some of us do that. I don't think we all need to be in business, but we need to have every position on the baseball field, and we need to play this game. And I don't think business alone will do it. I think we need to have business as the forefront to help drive us to be more economically free, to bring more money back into our communities. But we also need to then invest into people in our political arenas that are going to push the laws and agendas that'll give us more favor, that'll give us a little bit of political freedom that we want, right? And so when we talk about defunding schools and changing the education, even if I can afford private school, what about the people in my neighborhood who can't? I'm going to say F them because I made the money? No, but if I help push politically, hey, listen, the public schools need funding. So what if I can afford it? We all not meant to be on this train. Some of those people are my employees. They are my this might be insensitive, but they're my Indians, and I may be the chief. So how can I help the Indians in my community still have affordable living, still have quality education, right? That's making sure my business can connect with other business owners, and somehow we also have a political agenda to help my Indians. Hopefully y'all got that analogy and I didn't go too far off the reservation. Please forgive me for my indigenous people who may be offended by that whole analogy. I mean no harm. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. We have to move forward as a collective. We are one, but I think we're so individualistic. Me, that we don't go back and think, how can I connect the chain, the armor? How can we connect it? Because the armor together is stronger than the links by themselves. So we have to link up. We have to connect.
For sure. I don't think there's nothing else to be said on that. So, y'all, we are pushing the agenda of, what's the price of freedom, right? One of the reasons why we do this, why we have this podcast, you might be like, what qualifies y'all to talk about such things, right?
Because we care. Right? We care, and I'm black and he black, and, right. we got businesses in this community. We care. Right. And we are business owners. So that's why we want you to mind your biz.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we care. I think that's more than enough to qualify us because we care.
And I think one of the things is not only do we care, we're in an industry that is very much so particular and that every business in America needs, right? And that's money management, finance, tax structure, business structure, right? They all need it. I don't care if you're running a warehouse, a mill, industrial business, a product-based business, a service-based business, whatever that looks like, everybody has to come in at least once a year and pay taxes.
That's right.
Just from that notion alone, right? You need to understand business. You need to understand finance. You need to understand your economic power. You need to understand your structure. You need to understand the tax system. And so we put this podcast together so we could teach the people, the average people or the everyday people, what we do with our clients. We help our clients do just that, to be in this fight so they could choose whether or not they want to be on the political side or they want to stay on the business side, whatever that looks like for them. But at least our fight in this, in this whole revolutionary war on poverty, is to help business owners make it out of the conditions that they in. Mm-hmm. So you in support of that. And we are modernizing how we break down business, because there's not a lot of podcasts or people out there that's really talking about it. You got a lot of people teaching you how to get into different industries, which I have no problem with, right? Because you need to pick something to do something. But there's not a lot of people who's teaching the business of business and what that looks like. Yeah. And business is not just you think it's just the business or the industry, or we're going to talk about specific fields, but they really feed down to the family, the structure, your community. That's what business affect. Everything around us is the business. The whole ecosystem is a business-like system, right? Without the sun, there's no vegetation. Without the moon, you can't do certain stuff, right? Without water, dry land, everything works for one another, and they have a place and they have a thing, right? So our podcast is to push that agenda, to teach that agenda, so you can understand it. You could teach it to your family. Y'all could sit around and watch this. You could start businesses, grow businesses, change businesses, or even your professional career. Because just because you're an athlete or a doctor or a lawyer teacher doesn't mean you can't have business-like qualities, leadership, how to stand up in your job or industry, right? And so we pushing that agenda. If you in support of that, which I hope you are, and I hope we are reaching the people, please find it in your heart to like, share, subscribe. That helps us keep the lights on. That helps us come back do this every day. That helps us pay our team. We got a whole team of people back here, production studio. We ain't just doing this out of our garage, y'all, right? We putting time, effort, and money.
We supporting another Black business.
Right.
Each one reach one.
Right.
Come on now.
We building our asset window so our asset window can start paying for other things like I explained, right? And that includes pouring back into the community.
Yeah.
Right. So like, share, subscribe, you mind your biz, leave a comment. If you're looking for advice, tax advice, business structure help, please hit the links in our bios where we have our links to our calendar. Where we're doing free consultations so we can help you get your business structure, get your taxes in order, whether you're individual or business owner.
That's right. What he said.
All right, we'll see y'all in the next episode, y'all. Peace. What's going on? We're glad to have you at another episode of Minding Your Biz podcast. Listen, everything that you hear or see on this podcast episode is for educational purposes only. We have not seen your books. We have not seen your specific situation. Make sure you please seek your financial advisor for anything pertaining to your situation. Peace. All right, y'all. It's a wrap.
Listen, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends to come check us out at the Mind Your Biz podcast, y'all.
And we'll see y'all in another episode of Minding Your Biz. Peace.